It's a trend we don't want to see, fire after fire, day after day. As of tonight, we have 4 wildfires burning along the Front Range. Help is coming from across the state as crews just start to get a little containment on some of these fires. We have team coverage for you tonight as we track the wildfires across Larimer, Boulder, and Jefferson counties.
We're going to get to Rachel Krause and Rhea Jean in a minute, but first, let's get out to Kyle Clark, who's live in Jefferson County tonight near the quarry fire.
Kim, 6 hours ago, the quarry fire was unruly. It was crowning across treetops in 2 directions, north towards where we're standing and east toward the Deer Creek Mesa neighborhood. At this point, after hours of relentless air assault by helicopters and fixed-wing aviation, the fire, while not controlled, appears to be pounded into submission. We've got a second camera that gives you a better look at where there are still hot spots on the hills tonight, almost like city lights in the distance. But these are hot spots that are not visible to the naked eye, even here at night, let alone during daylight. So the amount of progress that has been made on this fire is just astonishing. So we're southwest of C-470 in Kipling, and this is one of 4 fires that are burning along the Front Range tonight. The smallest, newest, and most significantly under control fire is the Lakeshore Fire, started today near Gross Reservoir in Boulder County. The Stone Canyon Fire has been turned away from the town of Lyons, and the Alexander Mountain Fire west of Loveland is the largest, and that's the fire that has forced the most Coloradans from their homes. Let's get to Boulder County, where our Rachel Krause is not far from the Lakeshore Fire, where we watched a home go up very early in this fire, Rachel, before firefighters very quickly got fire retardant lines around it.
Yeah, and Kyle, tonight a very different picture from what we saw out here earlier in the day. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office and the Mountain View Fire Rescue say tonight they feel they have a very good handle on the Lakeshore fire just hours after it first sparked up. Now, throughout the evening, evacuation orders and road closures have been lifting, allowing a lot of folks to finally go back home. Now, the fire started around 2:30 this afternoon on the east side of Gross Reservoir, growing to about 6 acres. The fire impacted 2 structures, one of them a home. The Sheriff's Office wouldn't confirm the extent of the damage, but we did see a home burning tonight from Sky 9. Fire officials say they were able to react to this fire very quickly, splitting away some resources that were working on the Stone Canyon fire nearby, including planes to drop flame retardant. Now, as for what caused this fire, Sheriff Curtis Johnson says they believe this was caused by humans.
At this point, we are talking with 2 individuals that we believe may be involved with the start of the fire. It appears to be accidental. We'll have more information when we complete interviews and complete our investigation. This does not appear to be intentionally started, but it is a human-caused fire.
Tonight, the Sheriff's Office says it appears 2 people were working on a property in the area. No arrests have been made. And tonight, evacuation points that had been open to give people a safe shelter from this fire have closed in North Boulder and in Nederland as officials continue to get a hold of the Lakeshore fire. Reporting live in Boulder, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Rachel, thank you. The great fear this time last night was that an overnight shift in the winds might send the Stone Canyon fire back down into the population center of Lyons. Thankfully, with some great firefighting and assist from nature, that did not happen, and folks living in the town of Lyons were allowed to return home today. That fire that started yesterday afternoon quickly burned 1 home as we watched from Sky 9, and it took 4 others. At least 4 other homes were burned. 1 person was killed. Their body was found inside one of the burned homes. Investigators have not said who it was that was killed there in Lyons. We also know that 4 firefighters were hurt as they worked to get 20% containment on that fire by tonight. It's gone through 1,500 acres, and right now it is moving north away from Lyons, mostly into ag land and into open space. The Alexander Mountain Fire west of Loveland has primarily burned land that's owned by Uncle Sam, more than 7,600 acres, but that is primarily forest land north of Highway 34. No buildings have burned, despite the fact that firefighters say it's not safe for them to go in and do structure protection in that rough and rural terrain. About 4,000 people have been evacuated over a wide area that stretches from Glen Haven in the west to the edge of the foothills outside Loveland on the east. So now resources were stretched thin on those 2 fires alone before this quarry fire was seen last night. It was a Jeffco deputy out on routine patrol who saw a very small fire, just 10 foot by 10 foot. quite suspicious, honestly, is what they said today. But within an hour, that had grown to 50 acres, illuminating the night sky to the horror of all of the folks who live around here. This hilltop has become a place where people have gathered to watch the fire throughout the day and to watch the air assault as helicopters picked up water from Chatfield Reservoir nearby to drop it on the quarry fire. Our Ria Jha is there at Chatfield, where the public has been asked to stay away to keep things clear for the firefighting effort. Ria?
Right, Kyle. As far as we have heard, this fire has grown more than 300 acres at this point. But as far as we know, it could have been a lot worse. Officials are more than thankful for the air support that they got today. Jeffco Sheriff's Office said there were 4 helicopters picking up water from the reservoir and going back out to the fire. But if you were watching the pace these helicopters were going back and forth at, you would have thought that there were more than just the 4 that they had. And like you said, a bunch of people showed up to watch that.
You see it, Optimus Prime? There's one plane.
Dozens of people, like mini Optimus Prime and his mom Vanessa Wandersee,
I think these ones are probably surveying the fire.
watched from the Ken Carroll open space as the quarry fire grew larger and larger.
He's enjoying watching the helicopter fill up with water and go and dump that.
Jeffco officials weren't sure they were even going to get the aerial support, as firefighting resources are already stretched thin, battling large fires in northern Colorado.
We feel very fortunate and are grateful for the air support. It will make all the difference in the world.
This is a little more scary because we're getting the big air tankers and we're getting a lot more air attack.
Paul Tullis lives in a neighborhood just north of here, and it isn't his first fire.
This popped up last night and I'm like, oh my gosh, do we need to be, evacuating or what's going on?
Like many others in this watch party,
Yeah, a lot of these folks I recognize a couple of them in the crowd.
he's keeping an eye on this fire that has already forced hundreds of people to evacuate.
There's a lot of houses in this valley, so it's scary. You don't know what's going to happen. Actually, we were on the way to take some stuff over to my mom's house to get it out of our house just in case, so we don't have to pack a million things at the last minute. So we're trying to be ahead of it.
Everyone's fingers are crossed.
Actually seeing it in person is kind of putting everything into perspective for him, I think.
Even the mini ones.
Nope, that's not a float plane.
As far as we know, this fire is still 0% contained. We know that nearly 600 homes are under mandatory evacuation and dozens more under voluntary. Officials are saying if you are seeing black smoke from your home, you should be ready to pick up and leave at any moment's notice. Reporting live from Jefferson County, Ria Jha, 9 News.
Ria, thank you. Cannot tell you the relief that folks in this neighborhood have felt today watching this fire go from very scary looking this afternoon, moving in multiple directions, to far more tamped down tonight. I want to show you that angle again, looking south from our position toward the quarry fire, where you can see that there still are dozens of pockets of active fire. And this is going to be the challenge going forward for firefighters, that even if they are able to knock this down with the aerial firefight, eventually, because of the patchy way in which that it is burned, it has not burned complete hillsides. They're going to have to go in and they're going to have to do the work with the hand crews to knock down all of these hot spots, lest they come back up into the canopy and start to move into fresh timber. We actually, while Ria was talking, saw our first crowning in about 4 hours, which is discouraging, but at the same time, Kim and Alex, this is a vast improvement from where we were 6 hours ago on this quarry fire in Jefferson County.
Yeah, to see all those hot spots, it really puts it into perspective.
Yeah, that's a lot to keep their eyes on and understand those neighbors, what they're going through. That's overall encouraging, though. Thank you, Kyle. As the sun sets on another hot and hazy day, the forecast is calling for a repeat tomorrow. Lauren, that is not what firefighters want to hear, or any of us for that matter.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, the good news is we're expecting another afternoon with relatively calm winds. That's been a little bit of a saving grace today, and it will be tomorrow. Now, the other factors that are in fire danger are going to be the hot temperatures and dry air. Well, we're going to continue to see that. That's going to continue to lead to dry grounds out there that burn about quite a bit quicker. Now, we do have those 4 fires still burning out there, one outside of Loveland, the other one near Lyons, then one at Gross Reservoir, then the one in Jefferson County. We're going to continue to monitor monitor all of those. But let's take a minute to look at some of the items that could impact that. So right now, temperatures still in the 70s, 80s in some areas across the Front Range. This is where we're looking for those fires. Temperatures are starting to cool a little bit, but some good news is relative humidity is going up. Most of these areas seeing relative humidity between 20 and 30% now. Earlier today, it was roughly around 10%. So that's a bit of an increase. Now, as we take a look at our current wind gusts, all of those winds have calmed down, mainly coming in at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So we will enjoy those calm winds tonight, and that will help those fire crews out there. So I'll have more details on what this will look like as far as wildfire smoke across the state and the next 7 days. I'll have details on all of that in my full 7-day forecast coming up.
Lauren, thanks. When wildfires happen, we often see planes flying overhead, dropping that red retardant. The city of Boulder said today they're testing the water at Boulder Reservoir after some of the retardant got into a supply canal this week.
Jennifer Meckles is joining us now. And Jenny, you spoke with experts about what they can do to the water.
Yeah, and what this can also do to the water, right? Not just what they can do, but what this is doing to the organisms that live there. Firefighting planes have been dropping slurry over several fires the last couple of days. You're seeing just a couple of different places they were dropping it, including over Stone Canyon fire, the one burning north of Boulder. In that case, some slurry went into the St. Vrain Supply Canal, which flows into Boulder Federal Canal and the Boulder Reservoir. Good news is that the city of Boulder says they don't usually use this particular reservoir for a drinking water supply. And the stuff that did get in there this week, small enough, it's not really a water quality issue, but it is kind of an opportunity to, educate us on all this. So based on testing, Boulder says this slurry volume is less than 0.001% of reservoir volume. So it's really diluted. It's not going to have any human health impacts, they don't think. You can't even see it in the photos they shared that staffers took this morning of the reservoir. We chatted with a PhD candidate at CU Boulder who studies the impact of fires on water supply and ecosystems and the stuff like what happens with slurry in the water. She says too much of the chemicals, like ammonia or phosphorus, can almost act like a fertilizer for stuff like harmful algae.
This can lead to fish kills if there's actually so little oxygen left that the fish start to suffocate. It can also cause changes in species composition in the water and lead to harmful algae blooms in serious cases. And at these low concentrations, they're just not really worried about stimulating so much algae growth that it's going to really be a concern.
So just to repeat, she and the city of Boulder say at these low levels, reservoir operations seem to be fine. It's worth keeping an eye on, but we're not talking about anything that's a big deal at this point. But you're going to see a lot more of this stuff flying through the air this week, right? The city says people can still swim at the beach at the reservoir. They just want people to avoid letting their pets get in the water and fishing near the North Shore, near where the canal inlet was. So there you go.